Hello and welcome to Guns and Gear. You know, a little while back I watched a video from Willwood 487, and by the way, he's a great guy. He's got a lot of really good videos. You should go by and check him out. At any rate, he made a video talking about the ammunition that he uses in his defensive guns. And I thought that, you know what, that's a great idea. You know, if you've been around YouTube for a little while, you'll notice that sometimes topics have a way of, you know, coming back up. You know, they kind of over a period of time they start to regenerate, and this is one of those topics, and it's a good topic to talk about. And besides that, I haven't made a video talking about ammunition for defense. I know I've made quite a few videos talking about handguns or shotguns, things of that nature, but I haven't talked about the ammunition, so I thought I would make a quick video and do that. Okay. Now, to set a little bit of a parameter here, I am talking about defensive ammo against people attacking you, okay? Not critters, not bears, not rhinoceros or anything else, but people, okay? And I'm going to also build some parameters that, you know, I'm not talking about if you live out in the middle of the woods somewhere and you know, you don't have to worry about overpenetration or anything of that nature. Just this, what I would like to talk about is good solid defensive ammo as the manufacturers have designed it. Okay, so let's get talking about that. You know, over the years, I've been making videos for over 2 years now, and I've been watching them for even longer. Some guys I've heard make videos talk about that they like heavy for caliber ammunition. And whereas I pretty much think I know what they're talking about, but just in case, I would like to define what I like. I like what's good and effective with the particular firearm that I own. Okay? I'm not going to say that I like heavier loads better than lighter loads, because to me that depends on caliber. Okay? I'll give you an example. Up at the top here is a Para-Ordnance Night Tack, and it's in 45 ACP. Okay? And I've shown this gun in many videos as my bedside handgun. Okay? And it still is today. I like the fact that it has a very high capacity of 45 ACP. This magazine happens to hold 15 rounds. Okay? Now in 45 ACP, I like heavy for caliber ammunition. Okay, I like the 230 grain plus P loads, even though this is a very lightweight load. This is the Corbon DPX. But I like, in general, for 45 ACP, heavy for caliber ammunition. But the gun right next to it, this 357, this is a Model 65 Smith & Wesson. It's a 6-shot 357 Magnum. All right, a 357 Magnum. I do not like heavy for caliber ammunition for personal defense. Okay, the reason being is the average load for the 357 Magnum is 158 grain. And whereas there are some good ammunition out there for self-protection, in general, it is the lighter loads that have turned out to be much better. In other words, an almost mythical load for the 357 Magnum is 125 grain jacketed hollow point. Now I carry a modern version of that. It's 125 grain, but it's a bonded hollow point made by Spear Gold Dot. Okay, 125 grain bonded hollow point. Now, a heavy for caliber ammunition, now you're talking about 180 grain and 200 grain offerings, and all of those loads are made for hunting. They're made for deep penetration in large animals, okay? Or to completely penetrate the animal in a mid-sized game like a deer, okay? That is not suited for personal defense. That ammunition is not suited for that. So no, I wouldn't like heavy for caliber ammunition for a 357 Magnum. Now those are kind of, in my opinion, those are two kind of extreme cases, but that gives you an idea that I look at the caliber in the gun. All right. Now when I say that I look at the gun, I shoot for groups. Okay. I shoot for groups with different kinds of ammo and find out what that particular gun likes. Now I know a lot of you are going to say that, hey, you know, average distance is 5-7 yards, whatever, you know, and it pretty much doesn't matter. And to that, I would mostly agree. There's only been a few times that I've ever noticed that an ammunition be that far off at such a short distance. Okay, so in general, mostly, that's very true. But I always shoot for groups at 25 yards because that's sort of considered a maximum distance in most of the training that I have received for self-defense. Okay, and that way I know what ammunition my gun really likes and shoots better than others. Because see, the point of aim and point of impact may be different. And I'm going to have to make a decision on whether or not that I'm going to use that ammunition based off of that. Now, what do I mean by point of aim and point of impact? If I aim at the bullseye and I get a group that is low and left or high and right or anywhere in between, it can be to the tune of being a couple of 3 inches off. Okay, that could actually equate into a miss in a real high stress self-defense situation. Okay, so the ammunition that I normally choose for the guns are going to be the ammunition that shoots relatively point of aim to point of impact to guns such as these revolvers, which are true fixed sight guns. You can't make any adjustments for elevation. There's really not enough sight to be messing with the elevation any, and there's no way to make any adjustments for windage. Now, some of these semi-automatics have adjustable sights. None of them that are on the table. These are all fixed sights gun. But to show you the and by the way, all these guns are cleared. These 2 guns are loaded. These guns right here, you can adjust a little bit for windage and but not so much for elevation. Although you can buy sights that have different elevations for some of these guns, such as the Glock. Okay, so that's one of the things that I look at. Another one is the actual bullet itself. Okay. This is one area that I really don't think outside the box too much. I stay with the top manufacturers, top U.S. manufacturers, and their top self-defense loads, okay? Such as Hornady and Speer Gold Dot. The Hornady tap rounds I really like. Winchester PDX, okay? And Corbon, both their standard hollow point ammunition and their DPX, which I really like. Okay, so let's go through the guns real quickly and I'll show you what I use in them. I've already mentioned this is a pair of Ordnance Night Tack, okay, and it likes the Corbon DPX, which is a solid copper round that has a very deep cavity, and I don't know if that'll show up in there or not, but it has excellent expansion and retention of weight. Since it's all copper, there's nothing to separate. Okay. Now this is a Smith & Wesson M&P. This is the 45 compact. I've stated several times that's one of my favorite carry guns, and one of the loads that it likes very well. And this is a bonded Speer Gold Dot 230 plus P. Okay, and that's a little picture of that. And there you go. Now, I've been carrying this gun quite a bit lately. I haven't carried a Glock in a while, but I really like the Glock 23 and the Glock 19. This happens to be a Glock 23 and 40 Smith & Wesson. And it too is a Speer Gold Dot fan, and this is a 180 grain Speer Gold Dot ammo. All right. Now, 40 Smith & Wesson is one of those calibers like 45 ACP that I generally like the heavy for caliber ammunition. And when I say that, I mean the 180 grain. There's just recently, I've noticed some 200 grain offerings come out, and I have not shot them or tested them. My ammo tests are very rudimentary. It's basically just wet newspaper or wet phone books, things of that nature, to get an idea of expansion and penetration, maybe in water jugs or something of that nature. And I don't know anything about those 200 grain loads. All right, next is a Walther PPS. This is a 9mm. It is a great option if you're very sensitive to size and weight of a gun. And the 9mm rounds that this gun likes is the DPX. This is 115 grain DPX load, and it exhibits great expansion. Now, one bullet that's not on the table, I don't have a gun loaded in it right now, but it is an excellent bullet. I don't know what I did with the bullet. Oh, I did have it sitting on there, my fault. Is this right here. This is the 9mm 124 grain plus P, and this is also a bonded offering from Gold Dot, from Spear Gold Dot, and this is an excellent round. It's I read somewhere one time that the 124 grain plus P Gold Dot was the most sought after ammo for those police departments that use 9mm. I don't know if that's true today. I read that a few years back. But at any rate, it's still an outstanding cartridge. Now I'm moving over to the revolvers that I have sitting over there. As I stated earlier, this is a Smith & Wesson Model 65. That's a K-frame 357 Magnum 6-shot. Now the standard ammunition that I carry for it, I've already told you, is this Spear Gold Dot 125 grain hollow point. Okay. Now, a load that I carried for a long time, and I still use this load, especially if I'm, you know, going on a day hike or something of that nature, is this old Winchester Silvertip. Now, the Winchester Silvertip used to be a premium load for Winchester. It's no longer, but it's still in production. And this is a 145 grain offering. Now, I carried this for a long time as my self-defense ammo until I learned about the 125 grain jacketed hollow point being a very effective round, and I swapped over to it. Okay. Now for the snub nose that I have sitting here, this is a Colt Detective Special. Man, just an awesome little snub nose. It's a 6-shot. This is a new ammunition for me. Okay, I've only tested it once, and again that was wet phone books, and then I shot it into some water for some penetration tests. But this is the Hornady Critical Defense. Whoops, get it in there where y'all can see it. That's a 110 grain load. Now I have to admit that this is really a change for me, and that is because I normally carry some type of 158 grain all lead hollow point, the basic FBI load, okay, which is a plus P 158 grain. And that's because shot out of these snub nose revolvers at such a short barrel like this, 2 inches, you lose a lot of your energy. So the heavier bullet allows it to penetrate a little bit more. Okay, so that's some of the ammunition that I use with these particular guns, but that is not all of the ammunition that I use. I know that there's several Remington rounds. I know the Remington Golden Saber is probably the one round that I know the least about, and that's because I've only bought one box of it, and I tried it out in a gun and that I had bought at the time, and it didn't really work well, and I just never really bought any more of it. But I know that it's an outstanding round, and a lot of people like it. You know, the PDX round. Here's a 40 Smith & Wesson 180 grain PDX. And I know that that's very popular with folks, but again, I haven't really tested it very much. I did shoot this. This is a partial box, and I've tested it in a couple of guns, and it shoots pretty good in those guns. I just never have really gotten into buying a lot of it in different calibers. Federal. I mean, Federal makes several very good self-defense rounds, as does other companies. I do have a pretty good selection of ammo, because every now and then when I go to the gun shop or whatever and I buy ammo, I'll buy an odd box of something to try in the gun to see how it shoots, especially if it's something that I don't know very much about. And that way I'll have a good idea of what shoots well in my firearms, okay, and how they perform. I know I probably need to do better tests, and I think I will in the future. Get me some of that 10% gelatin that the FBI uses to test loads with. It sounds like that would be a good idea, and it would give me a more honest comparison. But at any rate, that's a little bit of a conversation about ammo. Now you notice that I do have some shotgun ammo here. I have the Hornady Tap double-aught buck. It's a reduced power 2 3/4 12-gauge round, and I have some Federal Defense law enforcement, also double-aught buck, and it's also a reduced power load. Now they are vastly reduced power from the buckshot that you would normally buy for hunting. Okay, but as for home defense, no, they are awesome. Inside of a room, these things are extremely devastating. Now, they're not going to give you the greatest pattern at 50 yards like you would like to have for a hunting shotgun or a hunting load, but that's not what they're designed for. They're designed for personal defense. Okay, and I do mention those because that is my favorite home defense weapon, a 12-gauge shotgun of some type. Okay, so there's a little glimpse of some ammo that I use for personal defense. Probably make some more detailed videos, maybe per caliber, at a later date. But at any rate, I thank you for watching. I truly appreciate it. And remember to shoot straight on the range and in life. Thanks.